Ready? Got that YouTube energy?
Yes, I
Feel the
think
power
I
of
think we've got
power.
it finally. Should I just do the whole podcast like this because I watched it in 3D?
Oh shit. Yes, you should. Thank you for reminding me. Hold on. You know, gotta get the Jaws cards.
Because we got the surprise coming up for later. That's what this envelope is down here, which I'm gonna block out your address. So we tease that for later.
Okay.
I don't think I can. Yeah, it is nice having like sunglasses on with like the bright light here, but
right.
So today we're talking about Jaws 3.
Yes.
I watched it in 3D. I have thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't watch it in 3D, but I also do have my own thoughts as well. You know, it's not my favorite Jaws movie, to say the least.
Is it your least favorite?
I think it is, because it's not the worst of them. It's not the worst.
I don't know. It might be.
I think the fourth one, Jaws: The Revenge, is the worst one.
Objectively.
But there's just some silliness in there that kind of like bring it up a couple steps, you know?
It's been a long time since I've watched it. There was some...
I rewatched the ending today.
There was
Jaws
some goofy
4.
shit in that movie. I will say that much. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. I do want to talk about that maybe. I don't know if we can dedicate a whole episode, but maybe if like we do a topical one, it'd be like worst sequels ever made or something like that. You know, I don't want to spend an hour on Jaws: The Revenge, but you know,
I didn't think I wanted to spend an hour on this, but there's a lot to talk about. So.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you think of another franchise that just gets worse and worse with each iteration? Usually there's one in there where it's like, oh yeah, that was better than the last one. You know, like, you know, Friday the 13th.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, there's other ones.
Cemetery.
Hellraiser is, there's one in there that I like better than 3 or 4, you know. I can't remember the name.
Most of them you should like better than 4. Man, I don't remember much to like about 3 though. Pet Cemetery, Lawnmower Man.
Oh geez, I can't even think. That's so crazy that Lawnmower Man got a sequel.
Oh, it's bad.
Job's War or whatever.
It's so bad.
Something. Cyber War or
it's
whatever.
Like they shot it in a college basement over a weekend. It's
yeah. It's bad.
So Jaws 3.
Yes. Just I don't know what to make of this movie. To be quite honest, it's not scary. It's not tense. There's not really anything funny that happens. It's just kind of it's another Jaws movie.
And yet there's numerous hilarious things that happen, but not through design choices.
Right. No, just by accident, you know.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to put a pin in that.
Yes. So, the news.
Just let it rip?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Well, you go first. Surprisingly, we're both going to be talking about similar things, but you go ahead first. So,
well, I wasn't going to talk about the cancellation of Batgirl because it's like, well, it's over. It happened. It kind of had its, release Batgirl movement on Twitter there. And then it kind of just keeps going where, like, people are really upset that they canceled this movie. I was really looking forward to it. And I don't know if it's just because of, like, the return of Michael Keaton, but I just thought it was, like, really fascinating that you have J.K. Simmons reprising his role from Batman Superman as Commissioner Gordon with the Michael Keaton Batman with, and it's like, is this a new universe or like I just have so many questions.
Where does it fit in? Yeah.
Brendan Fraser is going to be kind of his big return to action movies. I think the DC people liked him because of Doom Patrol and they wanted to bring him back in and he was going to be the villain Firefly. But they canceled it. I mean, that's nothing that everybody doesn't know at this point. It was not finished. They still had a couple more scenes to film. Like none of the special effects were done. That's my understanding, and this is directly from the directors themselves. Now, you and I were talking about this off air a couple weeks back there with
Mm-hmm.
when they initially canceled it, and they said like, "Yeah, guys, the movie just wasn't up to scratch." And I called shenanigans on that. I was like, "This is a regime change. This is the decision
Yep.
behind there. They just want to throw the whole thing out and move on and do their own thing." And now that it's come out that they're having funeral screenings for the cast and crew, like on the Warner Brothers lot, so only the people who got to work on the movie are going to get a chance to see it. Don't expect bootlegs to come out of that. There's going to be security. They're going to like take their devices away.
Right.
I just think it's really fascinating because like the directors got locked out of the footage because when they found it was getting canceled, they went online to like access the servers to just record whatever you can off your phone because this is going to disappear, and they were locked completely out of it.
It's
Now,
unreal. Yeah.
the quote that I have is that, and this is from one of the directors because it was a co-director situation. The guys from Warner told us it was not a talent problem from our part or the part of the actress or the quality of the movie. They told us it was a strategic change. There was new management. They wanted to save money.
Mm-hmm.
I hate being right because it
Yeah.
does not feel good in these kind of situations, but I nailed that 3 weeks back, so I'm just gonna pat myself on the
Yeah.
back. But that dovetails into something that you came
Yeah.
across there.
Yeah. I came across, and this is so interesting. We just had some weird synchronicity when we were getting our news together. Warner Brothers only has enough money to put out 2 movies this year. That's it. And not DC movies, because that's what I thought it was saying. Like, we only have enough money for 2 movies that are DC related. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's all of Warner Brothers. Only has enough money for 2 movies to put out. So one of them Shazam, and another one's some other movie I don't know anything about. Uh and then because of the cancellation of Batgirl, the reason that they also did that was it was going to be more beneficial to have the movie as a tax write-off. They'd get more money back into their pockets as a tax write-off than they would have from releasing the movie, which is not looking good for Warner Brothers. And it's like, where's all the money going? Why are they bleeding so much money? And then on the heels of that, I found out that the Warner Brothers New Line Salem's Lot movie that was supposed to come out in September has been pulled from a release schedule for this year, and it's not been reinstated on their release schedule for next year. So there's 2 things that are happening, and it's like they're just not putting out content, and it's like, where's the money going?
Mm-hmm.
And like, is it like people just aren't going to see the movies in theaters? I kind of find that unlikely. I mean, Top Gun Maverick like broke records all over the place.
Yeah.
And then uh the other thing is like, well, they're pushing a lot of their content out on HBO Max, and maybe HBO Max isn't a great service as we all think it is. Like, we're all getting the benefits of that, of seeing these huge blockbuster movies on a streaming service, but maybe those subscription numbers just can't support that. You don't see big movies like that on other subscription
Mm-hmm.
services, on Netflix or Hulu. Like, you don't see something like the Snyder Cut on Hulu, where we all saw Prey, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's interesting, and it's kind of looking bleak for Warner Brothers right now.
They'll figure it out. I mean, they're definitely going through a rough patch. I do wonder if part of that, and this is just pure speculation, was releasing everything to HBO Max instead of seeing what the theater situation was.
Right.
That could have been a miscalculation on someone's part. Who knows? The tax write-off situation is unfortunate. Bec- but the thing with like a $90 million movie on a streaming service, because Batgirl was supposed to be an HBO Max movie,
Okay.
Evil Dead Rise was also supposed to be an HBO Max movie, but that's getting a theatrical release. They actually bumped that to next April, which is
Okay.
good for them. They must be really happy with their test screenings or whatever to have the confidence in that. But I'm glad you bring up Prey as an example because a $20 million movie, maybe it's $30 million. I don't know what it costs. The budget's been I've been trying to look it up and it's real kind of dicey. I can't believe that movie was anywhere close to like what The Predator cost.
Right. Right.
But movies come out and we see it. It's like, well, it made twice its budget. Like, why are they saying it's a failure? A movie basically has to make 3 to 4 times its budget in order to break even.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, let's take your $20 million movie. You make your $20 million movie, you put it out. Then they have to spend $20 million in advertising, and that's, believe it or not, on the cheap end. So then your movie comes out and you have to split that box office with the theater owners.
Right.
So now it kind of makes more sense where like a $90 million movie doesn't really make sense to put it out on a streaming service, whereas a $20 million movie like Prey, like
Right.
let's say that's what that cost, makes a lot more sense because outright they don't have to split that revenue with anyone.
Right.
They
They're
don't.
cutting out a lot of different sources that's taken money away from their profits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so now think of the Snyder Cut, which cost $350 million. That's a lot of change for Warner Brothers to recoup, even putting it out on HBO Max.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's good speculation that's
Well,
one of the reasons,
and a lot of those movies don't have the tail. Like they kind of have to make it back in that theatrical release window
Yeah.
because they don't have the tail on streaming. Whereas, in the 90s and early 2000s, the movie would come out on your DVD.
Yep. And it was basically another theatrical push, like that type of money making, was it's released into theaters and then it's released to home video where like they could get money back from the release
Mm-hmm.
onto DVD and Blu-ray. So but that's not the same anymore. So yeah, I hope Warner Brothers can figure its finances out. I don't have a problem with Warner Brothers and I want them to keep making movies, but and I would like them to release more than two in a year, you know. It would kind of be nice, get these other properties out there and stuff. So,
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
I agree. It'll happen. It's just that this is kind of the post coronavirus period where
Woes.
just everybody's strategies was kind of like, yeah, what are we doing? What's happening? And now we're back.
Yeah.
Are we
Let's
ready?
get into this. Let's get into
Just
this mess. This
un-
nightmare kind of.
unleash our
Yeah.
unvarnished thoughts on Jaws 3D.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, where to begin? Like, I guess it's the third movie, so you got to make it 3D.
Mm-hmm.
There's parts of this movie that really look like shit. They're not good. And I'm wondering if like that's the 3D cameras because I didn't watch it in 3D. So they were like right in the beginning with like the water sequences
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
all the people on the skis and the credits are rolling and stuff. That looked awful.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like as soon as they get into SeaWorld, it doesn't look so bad. It's dated, but there was a part where it does and throughout the movie. Well, every time there's 3D, it looks like shit. That's why I'm saying maybe it's a 3D element, because the rest of it looks awful.
Well,
Right?
yeah. I mean, even the title bites, because they're doing those like like push in titles, and then you have like
Yeah.
Jaws 3, and that like bites a fish
Yeah.
in half, which is just kind of like suspended in front of the camera. So
Yeah.
This movie and Friday the 13th Part 3 used the same 3D system
Okay.
where it was controlled by, I want to say, exposure and focus. So
Okay.
that's what controls that sense of how extreme the 3D is. Because the way that most 3D cameras work is like actual native 3D cameras, there's two cameras right next to each other, and then they kind of overlap just a little bit. So
Okay.
like so when you take your glasses off and you kind of see image ghosting, that's why is because that's what's considered the convergence point, right? The point at which they overlap, that controls how pronounced the 3D effect is. This movie and Friday the 13th Part 3 were kind of revolutionary in that they went away from the red blue glasses. So you just had clear glasses that you would put on because it was controlled by a
Okay.
slightly different aspect. And I, I gotta say, I think Friday the 13th Part 3 did it better because that was all practical. I mean, like they had the same like really bad like flying titles.
Oh, the same gimmicks in all of them.
Yeah,
In all
but
both of them.
all of their 3D was practical, whereas with Jaws they did some post processing on it. So like
Okay.
when you see the barracuda head spinning around, I think that was a barracuda or
Have fish monster.
some
You know.
ugly. Yeah, but there was actual 3D photography in there. But man, when they do a post shot, do you see it? Because it's like Jaws on smoke. Like it's not
Yeah.
even underwater. It's just like hovering through.
Yeah. Slowly gliding kind of towards the camera because it's not even moving. There's no like animation in Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I forgot though. We forgot something, Brian.
What's that?
I mailed you a surprise. And I feel like we should open that now before we really get into the meaty goodness of
Okay.
Jaws 3.
All
Of
right.
Jaws 3. I have
Agreed.
mine here. Yes.
I held the envelope up earlier. I'll just.
Pretty awesome, right?
Actual Jaws 3D cards.
Yeah. Yep. I got my it's not even keying it out. Yeah, I got these. I found these at a flashback
To the
weekend.
right. It's over your name. Yeah.
Oh,
Now it's keying out. Hold it in front of your shirt there. Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. No, I saw these at a flashback weekend, and I knew we were going to be doing Jaws 3D. So I was like, oh, this could be a fun thing, you know. So this could be a fun thing to do.
Wow.
You gonna open yours?
3D cards with 3D viewer inside.
Yeah.
One stick of bubble. Oh my god, the cards that always came with bubblegum.
Yes.
I don't think I want to. 83, like
1983. Yeah.
that's a time capsule. Like I'm impressed that survived. I probably broke the gum just pulling it out of here, but no, that's cool. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but
You're not
wow,
gonna open them though?
tops. What didn't they make trading cards out of?
They had I wish Topps was still doing stuff like this. You know,
Are they even
I
still
really
around?
do. I don't know. Probably just doing baseball cards at this point. You're not gonna open it? I'm opening mine.
Okay. No, I'm not gonna open that. That's
All right.
find a frame for that or something.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to find the gum in this mess because it's like sometimes it's like pulverized. It's been in the box for like 29 years, you know.
Almost 40.
Oh, these are actually pretty cool, man. You probably won't be able to see them, but there's like scenes from the movie, you know.
Mhm.
But then on the back, actually, we figured this out, Brian. I'll
Yeah.
just put it in front of my shirt. You won't be able to see it too well, but
A little higher, yeah.
it's like 3D illustrations or something. That's kind of cool.
Like storyboards of what they wanted
No,
this to look like, or
no. Like, here's the image of the movie,
Mhm.
and then it's like we have an illustration of that photo on the back of the card, but it's in 3D, so you can use the glasses on them.
Okay.
are somewhere. I don't know. It's all over my desk now. There's like shit everywhere. I think I'm gonna try this.
Oh,
30
are
year old.
you? Oh God. Oh God. No.
It's really bad. It's not
Why would
good.
you do that to yourself?
It's not even gum anymore. It's got like the consistency of like
Oh.
of like sweet tarts. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Well, I like sweet tarts, but I'm hearing that in not a good way.
That's awful. That's awful.
You take a big drink of that water there.
Yeah. Well, what if it turns into like concrete in my stomach? You know?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I
All right.
guess
Well, listen. I think I really like these cards. I'll post them on. I'll post them up on social media so everyone can see it later, and we'll put them down in the description notes for y'all, so you can see
that's
what I opened. Don't
well.
ever do that.
Thank
That
you
was
for taking that
gross.
one for the team. Let's give Matt a round of
Yeah,
applause there, because
but yeah, I thought I saw these. I was like, this would be fun for us, having these little things, you know.
yeah, that's cool.
So
I like that. I mean, the only thing that differentiates it from the original poster there is it just says 3D, but I guess it wasn't breaking the waves in the
right,
original poster either. So they just had to iterate that in whatever way possible. But yeah, that takes me back. Thanks for that.
no problem. I mean, you could taste the gum too if you wanted to open your package up.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
40
think I
year
swallowed some of it.
40-year-old Bazooka Joe. I'm good.
It's disgusting. It did, like, how like you start chewing a stick of gum and it becomes gum.
Hmm.
This was like dust, gum dust, just all
It
through my
was.
mouth.
I'm sorry, Bazooka Joe. It was bad gum back then, because you'd open your cards and you'd be like, "Oh man, I can't wait to look at this R-rated movie that I don't get to watch, but I could look at the trading cards." And then here's this piece of gum that's like glass that just like cuts the palate of your mouth, loses its
Yeah,
flavor like instantly. I mean, it was within like 15 seconds, like
yeah,
and the gum was kind of the best part.
right,
But like the
right,
thrill of opening the cards, it was over like that fast. So,
yeah.
oh man,
All right,
the things that people
back
don't
to
have to go through nowadays.
yeah, right. So easy. All right, back to Jaws. So I kind of like to look at this movie about a mother's attempt at revenge, because SeaWorld killed her baby, you
Hmm.
know. That's how I look at this movie. And it kind of is a better movie because you're rooting for the shark, not the stupidity of the trainers.
Hmm.
So, like, baby shark in captivity, great whites can't do that. They die. Hey, let's do it to a baby great white, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think, because they try and play it off where it's like, here's this huge gift that fell into our lap, and, we can make a real spectacle out of it.
yes.
So I think they were sort of trying to be responsible, but they kind of knew better. and
Yeah.
and they should have just got it back out into the ocean as quick as possible, because of what you
Yeah.
said. It's not going to live in this tiny little pool with just crowd around, it's all right, just crowd around, people. It's a brand new event. We haven't had time to workshop this at all.
Yeah.
Belly up, dead
Yeah.
instantly.
Well, I'm not a what what are they called?
Marine
Oceanographer.
biologist.
Yeah. Uh I just don't think like any shark can survive in a pond, that's like a kiddie pool that's
Uh-huh.
only like ankle deep. And they're like, yeah, that's where we'll put this shark in the kiddie pool. And like, you, I want to kind of like focus on this scene for a minute because it's like great whites are just like trash cans with teeth. They'll just eat anything, right?
Hmm.
And this is a baby shark, but we're not talking about like a minnow. We're talking about like a human sized shark already. And they just
And
don't
that's the
have
baby.
like, yeah, right. And they're just like, they don't have like a protective fence around it. So like, what if someone puts their arm in front of Baby Jaws? You know, this is like Baby Jaws just gonna snatch it off them. Like, thanks for the lunch, dipshit.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
maybe.
yeah.
I
So
was just doing that earlier
no
today.
safety
I
whatsoever.
was
Yeah,
playing Maneater, and I just like launched 5,000 feet out of the water and just like ate someone off a golf course.
hell yeah, that's a great game. Maneater's awesome.
Yeah, it's dumb fun.
Yeah,
This movie's just dumb.
yes. No, so no safety parameters around Baby Jaws, and then they kill him. They kill the baby because it's SeaWorld. You know,
Hmm.
fuck SeaWorld.
Not a good look for SeaWorld. I mean, any way you slice it, from handling the animals to the park just being a complete death trap. I can't believe that they were like,
Put our name on this.
let's go, Universal. Like,
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of mind blowing, isn't it? And I tried to.
everything's just falling apart too. Like, people are trampling over people when, because there's no plan to safely evacuate out of the water when the shark's in the pond.
Yeah,
Jaws hits this underwater tunnel exactly once, and it's just flooding.
water everywhere. Yeah,
Those people get trapped in, the doors come down,
yeah.
seal them in. Enjoy your death trap.
Right. Yeah. It's mind blowing. I thought it would have. I tried to find any information on SeaWorld's involvement in this movie, like if it was something along the lines of Mac and Me, right, where it was like kind of forcing McDonald's hands to be a part of that movie.
Mhm.
No, it seemed like everyone was like, "Yes, please sign us up. This sounds great." And it's like, all right, it just seemed like it was business as usual, product placement in a shitty Jaws movie.
Oh, yeah,
You
Steven
know?
Spielberg's involved in this. He just made E.T. Yeah, yeah, that'll probably
Yeah.
make us look good. Yeah, well, Jaws 3. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind that it's not about a cute alien. It's about a shark that eats
Eats people
people
and seeks revenge.
and
Righteous revenge.
makes
Yeah.
little baby sharks, and that's it. And that's all
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah. Yeah. I went to SeaWorld when I was in Florida as a kid.
Hmm.
And I probably been to this one. This was the SeaWorld of Orlando. And I'm pretty sure like I was at this one. So
Did that they filmed that there?
yeah, they shot Jaws 3 at the SeaWorld in Orlando whenever there was like crowds of people. And then there was like a different area in Fort Lauderdale that they shot the rest of the movie in. So,
Okay.
but yeah, anywhere there was crowds, people walking around doing SeaWorld shit, it was actually at SeaWorld.
Oh,
So,
that's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, we went
I,
there too, and I was so excited because I saw the movie in Jaws 3.
for real, as a kid, you're like,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
don't
wait
know
to
any
go.
better, and it was one
Yeah,
of
you
the.
don't.
I think it was one of the first times where I was like, "Wow!" Like, a movie in real life kind of thing, but it was nothing like that.
I don't remember it
Not
much.
that I wanted, sharks eating people or anything, but it was just like, wow, like,
Yeah.
SeaWorld, they did a movie here, cool.
Yeah, like there's only one other time where I was like, "Oh my god, a movie was shot here," and it's the first time that I went to Georgetown Park. I think I've mentioned this before, which is a mall near
Hmm.
Washington D.C., but it's also where they had the bathroom sequence from True Lies.
Yeah.
So him walking through the mall, I was like, "This looks really familiar," like when I went there, but
Hmm.
I couldn't quite figure that out until like a year later. I just was like, "Yeah, I think I'll watch True Lies again." I'm like, "Oh my god, I was there." That was the only time where I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm really familiar with that place."
Hmm.
So, but yeah, Jaws 3, just I like. There's not. It's so weird to just kind of be mediocre as a movie, right? Because there's like it makes it so there's like nothing really to latch onto. Like, and what I mean by mediocre is like there's not something that's like really cool that happened or really, really dumb that happened. It's just kind of, eh. you know.
Hmm.
They retreaded some of the waters. Actually, here's a funny moment that I keep thinking about because it's just so silly. Like in the first Jaws, right? You had that like awesome sequence where they're shooting the shark with the kegs, and then the kegs
Oh
are like
yeah.
what you think of the shark. It's such a cool thing because it's like you're not seeing the shark anymore. You're just seeing these yellow barrels coming towards you, and you're like, Jesus, this is scary. It's really tense. And then they kind of did it again for like 20 seconds, but it was on a dinghy with like red balloons, you know? And it was like, oh, we shot the
Okay.
baby shark with the red balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tried to do it again, but it was just kind of, dumb. DUM, you
They
know?
they also kind of redid that scene where Chief Brody's like running around, get out of the water, get out of the water. But
Mm,
with his son running around, get out of the water. Um,
yeah,
doesn't really have the same weight, but it's like, oh yeah, that's an echo. Like that was a conscious choice to try
yeah.
and recapture some of that. I will say, I think Dennis Quaid must have had fun filming this because he got to do all kinds of like hero shots. I mean, even though the movie didn't turn out that great, he's like driving a boat really intense. And they got the camera right there, um, or the scene like I just said where he's running around like trying to be responsible, wrestle people, wrangle people in the right direction, get them out of the water, beaches a boat and just jumps right off. I mean, like they kind of did a bunch of that stuff too, where like it was actually him. Because like even in the beginning, where he's just kind of like riding a jet bike, a wet bike up to shore to just talk to these people.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's got to be fun, It's like nowadays people riding their segways down the hallway in office buildings. He's just like riding a jet
Right.
ski around. It's like dumping it on a beach. Like, yeah, what's up? Yeah, we're doing this. You're doing that. Look sharp. Get over. All right, I'm gonna go over here now.
Right. I don't like segues. I have like what are those thoughts like that come into your brain? They're like there's a term for them. I can't think of it right now, but it's like I just want to put like a hockey stick in front of the Segway at some point. Just I'll probably just go over it, but I just don't like Segways. I'm prejudiced against Segways, I guess.
So, watching the credits for this, I was kind of surprised to see that Joe Alves, who was the production designer of the original movie, was the director on this one.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. And coming to find out, this is his only directed movie. You know, might be because of this movie. I
I
don't.
I feel like he was given kind of an impossible task though, because it's like, okay, you're really good with art and staging things, so we need that in a movie that's this technically oriented. But also, here's a brand new technology with a movie script that doesn't really make it makes sense, but it's like there's too much going on, and yet not enough substance to any of it.
Right. Like, because it's different than like paper thin plots, right? Because it's
Hmm.
usually when like a paper thin plot, when someone says that about a movie, it's just because there's like not enough development of anything, right? But it seems
Oh
like they
yeah,
have ideas on what they should do, but then it's kind of like
and
they don't have a good enough attention to
well,
like fulfill
yeah,
them,
yeah, because it's
Like,
like here's like the dolphin subplot is such a great example of that.
yeah,
Here's the dolphins. Okay, they're there. Now we're gonna forget about them because here's the shark hunter from Australia and his
yeah,
buddy.
yeah. Hmm.
Now we're gonna forget about that and go do this other thing over here to
Yep.
to have the subplot with the brother.
Yeah.
Basically, everything has like a two scene arc. That's, I mean, if you can even be generous and call it that. It's like
Yeah.
we introduce it, we forget about it, then it comes back, and that's the conclusion, and then it's never brought up again.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of like not being brought up at all, why do you think the Brody Bros have Southern accents in this one? You know, that's not explained.
I
Maybe
don't
some
know.
exposition regarding that might help. That's kind of a little example. You with what you said with the dolphins, they don't show up. They show up one more time, I believe, maybe twice. One is tell them when they're underwater that, hey, there's a fucking shark over there, like, and then they do a fucking flip or they jump out of the water at the end, right? Yeah.
Bad. That looks so bad.
Yes, it looks horrible.
I
I
had
don't get it.
forgotten that they were just out there. I guess the idea was that, like, we need something people care, like a pet that people care about. I guess it'd be a dog, and if this took
Yeah.
place on land, and they're just out there with this dangerous, like you said, trash can with teeth, and then it's there to kind of like help maintain the stakes, but we just forget about him, and
Right.
then after the big climax of the movie, it's like, oh, hey, dolphins, and she's like smacking the water, like, this isn't your little training pool.
Right.
So unless they're right there, which apparently they were, because they just like fly up. Now, when I was a kid watching this, we taped it off TV, and TV was this non-rectangular ratio. It was 4:3 instead of like the widescreen that we all enjoy now as the standard. Thank God we won the format war on
Yes.
that. Back when you'd have to do like pan scan versus letterbox stuff. But anyway, I don't think I ever saw that before. I think it was just because they're like right on the edges of the frame, right?
Yeah.
So like if I use my camera right here, she's tapping the water, her and Dennis Quaid are right in the middle. The dolphins are like in a really bad post-process shot, and they're like right on edge of frame, but I was only seeing this on the TV. So it's like I see them, all right.
Yeah.
Freeze frame.
So
and then like, oh, I guess the dolphins survived because I heard something. Yeah, okay.
Right. So what did you think was the reason she was like tapping the water? Was it like, there, ocean? We saved you from the horrible jaws. There.
Well, I
Don't
think
worry.
wasn't that supposed to be like a training thing where
well, right, but
like
as a
that's their
kid,
dog whistle?
yeah, no, it is. But as a kid, you didn't see the dolphins on the sides,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you would only see her
but
tapping the water.
she was calling their names, like,
okay.
Whatever the names were. I don't remember their name. I can't be bothered to write those kind of details down.
Who cares? Yeah. No, but also like, did you think like Jaws ate the dolphins? Like, because they never came, and everyone's like, hey, we did it. And I'm just trying to, yeah.
I think that's what they wanted you to think, like that there was some level of suspense there.
Okay. Yeah. But since you didn't see them,
no,
it's just like you're missing some of the context. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And we lost that too, because that's that sequence where they trap it in the drain pipe, and then they close the gate on it, but then it starts swimming backwards, which sharks can't do.
Right. Or just glide backwards. Apparently they can do that in this movie.
And I was confused watching it too, because like they show this gate that's starting to bend as it's like going backwards. Like, hold on. Like, is it breaking the gate, swimming backwards, which it cannot do?
Right.
And
can't do.
Break this movie.
They have the shark swimming backwards multiple times, because there's like the finale where it has the worst, like, it's the worst image of Jaws swimming to the camera, right? And it's like supposed to be a 3D thing, but it's literally moving at a snail's pace slowly. Yeah, Brian's got it. Yeah. And everyone's like losing their damn minds, like, oh my god, Jaws is gonna ram us. And then it like cuts back. You know what it reminds me of is like in Deadpool, where he's trying to kill somebody with a Zamboni, right? Where it's like, where it's just slowly coming to, and like the guy's screaming and slowly getting there. That's kind of the same sequence, but done on purpose, like this way, like, oh, this is going to be so suspenseful, but it's not. It's
Yeah.
kind of comical to look at. And it's not in water either. It's like air and dust, like, or air and smoke, what you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, you know?
Yeah.
But
Probably because they
this,
couldn't get
yeah,
those cameras underwater. Because they
right,
did have the animatronic shark, which
right.
I feel like the scale of that thing grew since the first movie. Because I just saw a photo today of Quint in the mouth of the thing while they're. It was like some behind the scenes photo where they're like Robert Shaw is just kind of chilling there, and you can see the like the PA, like the sound guy. Come on, phone. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready for the shot. That fucking shark took up like an entire like 12-foot window, and I feel like the scale of it got bigger in the like it's like 3 times the size of what the shark in the original Jaws was.
Oh, in this one?
In this one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's like incredibly large, and like even in the first one, that's a big fucking shark,
Mm-hmm.
and this one, it's like, yeah, yeah, we're making it the size of like three semi trucks,
Yeah.
just so you know. So,
Yeah, because they
uh,
have the part where they swim over top of it
yes.
after they pull the hand grenade in its mouth, or
That was the hand grenade was like right at the end. So that was when, like, you know, like seconds before the Dolphins,
okay, yeah,
because this movie wraps it up so fast. It's like, we got other places to be. We got other movies to work on and do stuff for. So we're just gonna have to, do the old grenade trick, you know,
yeah, the
with
old yeah. We have to blow it up. We've established that. That's part of the franchise.
yep.
Um, that guy must have had what a horrible death. Like because he didn't really get eaten by the shark so much as gummed to death.
Yes. Yeah, because yeah, he just somehow gets in his mouth, like, even with all of his like snorkeling gear or whatever,
Feet first, head sticking
Yeah.
out.
So the mouth had to go past the flippers that the scuba guy was wearing as
Mm-hmm.
well. Just the logistics of getting this scuba diver in Jaws's mouth seems really difficult. And then I'm gonna just tongue you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
suffocate you with my shark tongue. I don't think sharks have tongues, but I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have tongues. I think it's just teeth and stomach, right?
Well, and yeah, I mean, you know how it feels when like something gets stuck in your throat,
Yeah,
and yet this thing's still running around on a rampage, like
right,
totally fine, totally.
right. Like, so in when we did the stuff, there was a scene of glass breaking that I thought I'd never see again, and I forgot about the glass breaking in this one, which puts the stuff movie to shame. Because Jaws hits the glass and it's like, oh yeah, that's just that is 3D effects made to look like glass,
Mm-hmm.
Um looks horrible. And then Jaws is in there. And then they get the hand grenade and they like got a little like hook. Where'd this hook come from? And like some guy, yeah, like Dennis Quaid's like, I gotta get it. Gonna get
Yeah,
that, pull that pin out with this hook.
yeah, yeah. He fashioned that out of a piece of debris from the control room. There, just like
It's
bends
just
it
so
over his knee.
silly.
What
Yeah.
what happened to Calvin Bouchard? He escaped, didn't he? The Louis Gossett Jr. character.
I don't know. He was in the control room
Yeah,
and then
because
you
he was
never see him again.
screaming in slow motion. I thought they showed him like swimming out of there.
Okay, I hope so, because I think he's the only character that I liked in this movie. You know,
I enjoy Louis Gossett Jr. Yeah,
yeah.
it's.
Um, but yeah, I don't remember him swimming out, so swimming away to safety or anything. You
I feel
know,
like it was one cutaway shot, and then the rest of it is like them. Um,
being cheerful.
no, no, like them in
Oh,
the control room, like acting victimized as the head's just kind of stuck in the window,
Yeah. Yeah.
gnashing its teeth back and forth.
It's just such an unsatisfying ending because it's just, I don't know, it's an unsatisfying movie. And then I guess it hit it, nailed it, landed the plane because the ending was just as unsatisfying as the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So I guess they succeeded. Congrats, Jaws 3.
There was something they did which um, it predates Mystery Science Theater, but I have to call it out. So when the shark hunters are taking their raft into the water, the one guy just kind of arbitrarily says, "Watch out for snakes."
Yeah.
That was a joke on a Mystery Science Theater episode. Was watch out for snakes, but the difference was that they were like out in the desert where, like
There aren't snakes.
you might actually find snakes. But it's just like, why would you bring that up if you're not gonna pay that off in any way? It's just such a weird throwaway line.
You brought up actually the scene that has, to me, the funniest line, because it just like, you have Louis Gossett Jr. and then Dennis Quaid and his like wife or girlfriend that are, marine biologists or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you can't take grenades into the pond because of, well, everything's fragile and it could destroy, right?
Which
And
is true.
yeah. So like Louis Gossett Jr. is like, no grenades. And then there's this random character, doesn't say a damn thing afterwards, but he goes, for Christ's sakes, governor. Doesn't say anything else again for the rest of the movie. You never hear him again. He's just there showing his,
The only other time you see him is when his buddy gets gummed to death, and and he's in the he has this big emotional scene where he's like, "What do you mean he did? He's down. Oh, he's still down. Oh, no!" And he's just like in the tunnel. That's the only other time that he has anything. But that's that 2-scene arc that we're talking about, where it's like you establish the characters, and then they do the one thing that you brought them into the movie for, and they're out.
Yeah.
Like
what? Like Leah Thompson?
And
that's another one.
Like Leah Thompson with the Brody bro there, they bring him in because, oh, you're afraid of the water, but Big Brother works in the park and we're gonna get you over that.
He's not afraid of the water. He just doesn't like it. He just doesn't like the water. Being afraid of something is like, there seems to be like a level where you couldn't possibly go beyond, right? If you hated something so much. But he's like, I'm going to have sex with Leah Thompson. So me being afraid of the water is just a moot point. That's like what happened. I'm not afraid of the water anymore if it has to do with me having sex, So
he was
I
still
don't think he was really afraid of the water.
A cold fish on that date, though. I mean, she was but she's got a lot of charisma, though. What a waste to put her in a supporting character role like that.
Oh yeah, but how awkward was it when they're on the beach for like 3 or 4 minutes before they go in the water, and they're just like creepily laughing at each other in that maze with all the flags and whatever on the beach. You know what I'm talking about?
Is that not how your dates go?
I don't make grunting sounds and just kind of laugh.
Oh, well, that's what I've been doing wrong all these years. All right, well, I'm learning things today. Let me write this down.
I'll put that in my back pocket whenever I go on a bad date again. I'll be like, ooh, Jaws 3 card. I'm just gonna grunt and laugh and see how long it takes to get this date done with. Move on. Check, please. Yes, sir.
Probably pretty quick.
Yeah. Oh my God. So to recap, this is the third worst movie in the franchise, right? We can easily say that. Jaws 4 is worse than this, but I like it better. I know that's kind of sounds like an oxymoron, but it is worse. But this one's better, but not as good as 2. And, 2 is worse than Jaws. Everyone following along?
Yeah. I mean, there are some good shots, like when Bruce just kind of emerges out of the darkness, but that's some of the few times that they actually use the underwater photography instead of relying on the 3D gimmick to
right
for their scare factor there.
Yeah, the 3D gimmick. Just floating body parts in front of the camera for excessive amounts of time. Like, look, it's 3D. Get it? It's 3D. Just making it clear. This arm floating in the water, it's coming out of the screen.
Right. And in case you couldn't see that, we have to make it sound like a toilet's filling back up because that's the noise that's like movie noise, cheap movie noise for your underwater. Like that.
Right. Yeah. God. I kind of wish they kept going with the series, though. I kind of wish they kept going with Jaws to see how far they could actually push it. You know, like people will complain, like, "Man, this franchise sucks. Why do they keep making more of them?" Right? You could levy that argument on a lot of franchises. I would agree with it.
Hmm.
Hellraiser doesn't need another movie, but we're getting one, or a series or something. But whatever, maybe it'll be good. Who knows? But you do get to a point where it's like, wow, this is just crazy, you know? Like Jason in space,
Well,
you
I
know?
mean, what else could they really do with it? To me, this seems like kind of a remake of Revenge of the Creature because you had Creature from the Black Lagoon, all right, that's out in the wild, and then they felt like the next iteration of that was to like take the character and kind of put it in a zoo, which must have been a new thing at the time. And it wasn't SeaWorld because that didn't exist. I don't even know if that park actually existed, whatever that was. I haven't seen it in a while, so I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure it was something generic, but same kind of idea. Like, let's take the
Mhm.
monster and put it in that theme park setting, and then chaos ensues, and then it really is like an amusement ride or something. I feel like that's
Right.
what the intention was, and it just doesn't quite land.
Doesn't get there.
Because
And it sounds
again,
like an awesome idea. Just talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I want to see. Oh, yeah. Well, there is a movie like that, and it's called Jaws 3, you know?
right.
And you're kind of defeated. You're
I
like, yeah,
mean,
they did do it, and it
yeah.
sucks.
Well, maybe that's just kind of a problem inherent to that concept is that it's like, okay, you got the monster in the park, now what?
Yeah.
And it breaks the cage. Okay, cool. Now what?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
so dolphins, huh? Dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dolphins. Yeah. God. And I liked this as a kid. This was a good movie as a kid. But as I grew up, I kept remembering this movie. I'm like, yeah, that just even like looking back at my memories, I'm like, it doesn't seem like it was that good. Maybe it was just my memory of it was different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not good. I've seen it as like an adult, maybe like 3 or 4 times at this point. You know, it's really
Oh, okay.
weird. Yeah, okay, I've noticed this part of myself. Maybe you do it too. I've known that Jaws 3 is not good for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't this episode where I was like, yep, this is the time that I watch it where I realized it's awful, right?
Yeah.
Why have I watched it that many times? Because if I watched it as a kid, it would have been maybe like once a week over a summer. Like I watched certain movies like excessively, and if it was on HBO, we didn't have streaming. We had HBO, but it was like here's a few channels of HBO. It's programmed, so whenever you got to look at your fucking TV guide to see what was on.
Mm-hmm.
After all that time, I knew it was bad. So why do I keep coming back to it? you know, I know it's not good, but I've still watched this like yeah 3 times in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Like it's why do I do that?
I don't think I've seen this since the '90s, probably.
No shit.
I mean, it
Okay.
might maybe it was on TV like when we were in college or something, but no, it's the same thing. I loved this as a kid. We taped it off the TV. I think it was my favorite Jaws movie as a kid. But as a kid, I think what probably worked was what as an adult I have a big problem with is that it just kind of moves from one thing to the next to the next to the next.
Yeah, you don't remember it as a kid, so it's just like, oh, this is so cool.
Well, but that's the
Yeah.
thing, is it just kind of holds your attention, because as a kid you're just like, squirrel, huh? What?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, what? Huh? Oh,
Yeah.
they're doing that now. Um, whereas you don't necessarily appreciate the build up, or the artistry that the original one went into. Because I liked the original one after they got out on the ocean, but I thought it was kind of boring as a kid, and like now I don't find it boring at all. I mean, I love that movie. It's infinitely rewatchable. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, that's just what a little bit of worldliness will do to you. But I it's probably the one that I watched the most. This one and the first one. Jaws 2, yeah, I've seen it a few times, more than The Revenge.
Yeah.
I don't have one of those box sets that have all the movies in it, though, and I think this must be Spielberg's doing, where it's like, you're going to put Jaws out on Blu-ray, it's not going to be a collection.
Yeah.
There's going to be
Yeah.
my movie and then the rest of them.
That's how it's always has been. Is Jaws gets its like own thing, the 1st one, and then 2, 3, and 4 get their box set.
The
You can
trolls get to have
yeah. You could always find the 3 together, the last 3 together, but never including Jaws. Yeah, I would bet money that Spielberg's like, do not do that. I despise even you thinking that that's a good idea. You know, so can't say I blame him. I can't. It's like he just wants people to remember Jaws, not the rest of the history behind Jaws.
Well, I mean, he was an executive producer on him, so it's not like he didn't have any involvement.
There.
Yeah. I mean, at least conceptually, he was in the room with some kind of input, but he was doing bigger and better things, and good for him.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well,
I do. At some point, I want to talk about The Revenge. We got to make it happen, but not a full episode.
I should. I'll track that down, because I think it's on the streaming right now. Because
it might be on HBO.
I did watch this in 3D, and then the series was on Tubi, like 1 through 4, which I was like, wow, really? Like, not like we said with just the sequels, but maybe I'll throw Jaws: The Revenge on if I've got some time this week, and we can kind of chat about that off air and kind of.
Yeah, it's silly.
See if it's worth an episode. I remember it being some pretty goofy shit where it's like basically.
The front and the back are great. Just like, how in the hell is this happening? So what is going on here, people?
Well, it like travels to New York to kill the kid, to eat him, and then goes down to the Bahamas. Even though
one of the other Brody Bros, I think, is down there. The last remaining.
Well, the mom's down there, right?
Yeah, the mom is there, but half of the Brody Bro group is there, I think.
Well,
the other half
then
got it in the beginning.
Yeah, there's that whole weird connotation where it's like, well, you've murdered all of these sharks, so now what, are they related? Do they have a hive mind? Is there a genetic memory? I mean,
yeah. Do you want to hear the breakdown, the Jaws lineage?
Lay it on me.
Okay, so Jaws, Bruce in the first one was the dad of everything, right? He was the dad Jaws. Jaws 2, that is the son of Jaws, right? Jaws is getting revenge. Son of Jaws is getting revenge for what the Brodies did to his dad.
All right.
Jaws 3 is the mom, right? The mom Jaws. So it would be the wife of Dad Jaws. And she's like, fuck SeaWorld and your bullshit. The only thing I can't figure out is the fourth one, to be quite honest. Because who else has revenge? 2 offspring were killed. Maybe it's another offspring, I
So
think that's what it is. I
listening
think
to
it's an
your
offspring.
listening to your description, this fits perfectly in the Universal Studios classic monster hierarchy
Yes.
because you have Jaws, Son of Jaws, House of Jaws, Ghost of Jaws, right?
Perfect.
So Son of
Perfect.
Jaws being obviously the Son of Jaws, SeaWorld being the House of Jaws, and then Ghost of Jaws being that weird psychic memory bullshit.
Right.
I think we just solved it.
I think we did too. Oh man. Well, I've enjoyed talking about this one.
It's
I have.
it's a wonderful piece of shark manure, I think is the
best put that right on the back of the box. Just that's what it needs. Brian, post credits podcast. All right. It hits the same beats and there's a lot of differences in them, but it is a very similar story, but also brings a lot of new elements into it as well. And so I feel like they can be almost criticized differently. Not that we have to criticize this version of Fright Night against the old version of Fright Night. You know? Like I
okay.
think it's kind of pedantic to think about it like that. But I feel like this stands on its own for being its own movie, even though it has the same subject material from the original.